Hey, everybody, it's Randy Chafee, Building Wins Live, your host for the day, as every day. So, we got a really fun guest on today, a guy I've known for, I think we'll discuss this, but 20 plus years now, Ben Nystrom with MWI Components. So, hold on, we'll be right back with Ben. Don't go away. Hey, Ben.
Hey, how you doing, Randy?
Good. Live from the sauna.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
I mean, I figured it was pretty appropriate. I mean,
well, I
it's
think so.
still technically winter, so.
It is technically winter, yes.
Wait, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's not.
Not, it's literally winter, not technically. I think. What is the temp in beautiful Harrisburg, PA area?
Today we're looking pretty good. I think it's probably mid 60s, but sunny and no wind. So
Nice.
yeah, pretty great. We definitely feel like we crawled out of winter, so that's a nice feeling.
So I'm going to introduce you quickly, and then I want you to tell us a little bit about Ben Nystrom. But the fact that where you're sitting today, if you want to mention where you're at, I think that's kind of interesting that a lot of people wouldn't know about you. But so this is Ben Nystrom, President and CEO of Sales and Marketing, MWI Components, part owner. And we've probably known each other. Am I right? It's 20 plus years right now.
Yep. I think we connected somewhere in the late 90s, around 98 or 99, somewhere in there. So yeah, long fruitful history there.
Exactly. And I'm going to, crisis management. So I'm going to get it out ahead of this because
Okay.
You did invite me to your wedding and I didn't come. So just so you don't throw that out there in the middle of this.
You're your own worst enemy, Randy, because I had completely forgot about that. But I will say I think I held a grudge for a couple of years that you did.
I think you did at least. Maybe longer, actually, I think. And
yeah, it's nothing that a few cocktails didn't take care of. So you made amends.
I did good. Well, I feel better now. My heart is better. So Ben, maybe tell our viewers, who is Ben Nystrom? Give us a little history about you and where you're from and what you do, and you're kind of a family man, as we know. Give us a little quick hit before we get into MWI a little bit.
Okay, sure. Born in the mid 70s, Spencer, Iowa. Grew up there, moved away when I was 18, went to college in Boston, moved out to Phoenix and went to college there for a little bit. And then when I was out in Phoenix, my dad was in process of a major transition with Metalworks, MWI Components, basically, or that's when he formed the component aspect of Metalworks. And I was in my early 20s at the time, and I was kind of at a crossroads. I was either going to go to Frank Lloyd Wright School of Architecture. I had been, I think I was accepted. I was either accepted or I was in process of that. And then, so I just kind of made this decision. I was curious. My dad was putting a warehouse out in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and I kind of had a desire to get back to the East Coast. I had never been to Pennsylvania. But yeah, that was the driver to get me out here, and had some brief stints in Minneapolis kind of in between there. But overall, I've been out here for, the last 20 some years, basically. So.
Right. And
that's
where you met your wife, was in
correct.
In PA,
yeah.
right?
So I met my wife out here. We have 8 kids. We adopted 2 girls from Guatemala in 2008, and my oldest is 21, and my youngest is 7. So,
wow,
yeah,
and we have been together a long time because I remember your oldest, and I remember like the youngest like yesterday when. Because we was at a show someplace, I think, when the youngest was born, maybe.
Yeah.
Or,
I think
or you couldn't come to the show, maybe because of that.
That was a couple kids ago, but yeah.
Well,
my youngest
8
was born.
I'm lucky. I remember we have 8.
Yeah, precisely. But yeah, never a dull moment. My wife is a true champion, and yeah, we really enjoy having a big family, and very active in everyone's lives, and it's fun because I have a couple kids now who are either in college or transitioning to college. Bella will be starting college later this fall, which seems impossible. But yeah, in the next couple of years, I have a lot of teenagers right now, so it's an interesting time in all of our lives. So
Exactly.
yeah.
So I want to get into obviously the true subject of MWI, but real quick, because this is just interesting. You're not at MWI and you're not at home and you're not in the sauna we've established. Where the heck are you?
That's right. Well, I had a little guitar shop in downtown Hummelstown. So Hummelstown is a quiet little borough, 10, 15 minutes from my house. And my one of my very, very good friends, James Renaud, he runs it for me. So he's the active manager. I've known him about as long as I've known you. We played music together for over 2 decades, and yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool to be able to sort of have that as a little bit of a side project. But Jim is very good at being a guitar nerd. That's what he's been his entire life. So it's you need one of those. You need a resident nerd to really kind of speak to all the questions and areas. So yeah, I pop in here, when I can, when I'm in town. I don't travel as much as I used to, but I still travel. And yeah, I'm just kind of one of those people. I've always got to have a few things going at once. I seem to thrive and do best when I have multiple projects at one. Not that I can't appreciate precise focus on one particular area. And obviously 95% of my energy is still put on MWI for certain. But it's yeah, it's kind of neat to be able to indulge in your hobby a little bit as well. So I'm very fortunate that I have Jimmy take care of everything for me, basically.
Well, that's a great deal because it allows you to I don't know, use air quotes, play in an area that you enjoy, but not have to be there every day and be focusing on it. So that's a real plus. So
yeah, especially when you're out of town, it's nice to be able to travel and not have to worry, and honestly, technology has been a huge aid in all of that. We have our entire everything digital online, so that makes it that helps out a lot too.
Yep, exactly. So let's bump into MWI. So as many will know, many may not, but your dad Bruce started Metalworks and then kind of incorporated that into MWI many years ago. Maybe a quick history of how that whole thing went down, Ben, if you don't mind.
Sure. Well, I'm partially to blame for it. I like to think. When I was in second grade, my girlfriend at the time had our families met and just became really good friends and did a lot together just as families for a stint kind of in the mid 80s. And her dad basically he was working for a pole barn company, and my dad was already involved with HVAC. We would do a lot of custom metal, curbs and types of things that would go on commercial buildings that worked in tandem with just being an HVAC contractor. So, he knew that he had a metal background, and he just was kind of like, well, why don't you look at these things that we're trying to figure out how to build, or we're trying to find somebody who's willing to do this because we don't want to do it ourselves. And basically that was a Cupolo. Okay. So, history was sort of established right then and there. my dad was like, well, I don't even know what that is per se. I mean, I've seen them, So anyhow, long story short, he got a hold of one, and they disassembled it, and my dad kind of went to work, and he saw the potential of it basically, and yeah, that's when it started. I believe that was kind of the late summer, early fall of 1985. And he kind of did that in tandem as well as running the HVAC contracting business. So you can see where I get it from. It's kind of dueling businesses at once. But anyhow, he started to see a lot of the potential there, and eventually resigned, as manager or president of the HVAC contractor that he had been working for, and established Metalworks. And so then what we would do is, or what he did is, I was only 10 at the time, but he, I think a couple, 3 years into it, he started running into Plyco at these shows, basically the NFVA shows. And we were the private label for them. So we basically had established a relationship with them for about 12 years. And then in the late 90s, there were some decisions that just had to be made. And as things evolve, basically, that was the next step for my dad to take, was to go out on his own. He wanted to bring more product into the portfolio. He kind of wanted to be more in control of his own destiny type thing. So yeah, late 97, 98, he broke away and decided to reestablish himself in the industry. And that's when I came on board. We originally set out we had a warehouse in Harrisburg, and we had a warehouse in Cincinnati. But it was interesting because the market changed literally right around that time. Prior to that, it was very basic. It was basically white and brown.
Okay.
Those were the colors that you could choose from. And it almost felt like overnight. I don't know what your experience was, but it almost felt like overnight it became just a large palette, of colors were needed in the industry. So, it was an abrupt change, and it was great for me. It was really a good lesson in learning how to adapt and how to adapt quickly. And so, that's kind of how we got established, was just, we embraced it. We looked at it as a challenge, but we also really embraced the fact that, well, let's figure out how we can, make, at the time, maybe 20 colors available to everybody. And, now, 2 decades later, it's probably hundreds of colors that we make available to people.
I know we always say 100 plus, right? Because I don't know what that is, but it's a bunch.
Yeah. And it's kind of fun to see how the whole thing has evolved. I haven't really thought about it for a long time, but being able to share the history is pretty cool.
No, it is. And it's good to hear you share it again, because I've heard the history, having been with MWI Components 20 years at least, I think. I can't remember exactly. It was right around the same time you came on board, I think. But
yeah, you came. I think you started in either 99 or 2000. I can't remember, but somewhere around there.
Yeah. So it's been a while. So the growth that's been fun to be involved with, going from, I think when I first got started, we was doing cupolas and ridge vents and maybe bubble foil and polycarbonate. Maybe I'm a little fuzzy on the timing.
Oh, you're right.
But then, man, we went through, with adding all the horse stall products and Dutch doors and all the equine barn products, and then the maybe talk about the thought process there, and also, barn door track. I mean, at one point we were a cupola company, basically, right? And then now, a premier full line manufacturer supplier of anything post barn component related, and that's a pretty big jump from then to now in reasonably short number of years, really.
Yeah, Yeah, I think it really started with, like you said, once we added the foil and once we added the poly, um, it's like anything else. You discovered that you could do it. You discovered that you could, um, kind of start to expand and get outside your normal box of thinking. It's very easy to just remain status quo. And
Right.
and I think that was probably the first opportunity that we had, and then so then we started adding things like soffit and trim and um, other ventilation products. It was a bit of a challenge for us to transition our thinking into the under ridge ventilation because we were a ridge vent company. You
Right.
know, it's we felt like at the time that we might be just shooting ourselves in the foot, but really what we were doing is we were adding value to what we were already doing. The ridge vents didn't go away completely, thankfully.
Right.
And if we would have stood there and kind of dug our heels in and not embraced some of the changes that we were seeing, I mean, we really would have missed out on a great opportunity. Univent um, is a great product for us. We sell a lot of it, and if we would have just kind of said, we'll just stick with ridge vents, we would have missed out on that opportunity. So
Right.
yeah, I think just following, paying attention to the market, really, and you guys, our salesmen, drive a lot of it. One of the things I learned from my dad that I felt was really important was, he felt when he was the sales manager that it was really important to always give, you guys, the reps, um, something new to talk about, basically. As simple as
Right.
that sounds, it can be really, really important because, you guys are seeing uh, customers over and over, and which is great, and you solidify your relationship that way, but it's still fun to have something new to talk about,
Well,
and bring to the table.
oh, it is. It is, and it almost hits a point where, as a sales guy, it's it's never this way, but it almost like, well, so what are you here for again, right? I mean, but thanks for the donuts again, but there's nothing new to talk about, right? Other than the same old, right? So there is
Well,
advantage to bringing in.
you don't want to fall into that trap, right? And
It's
one of I think the ways to remedy it is just kind of like, being a little bit of a trendsetter, or just,
yes,
just even having that mentality, it allows your customer to say, what's new?
right.
What's next? What's going on? And hey, I've been in positions where, we kind of built that reputation, and then after a while, it was kind of like, well,
Yeah,
I don't have anything new right now,
exactly.
but and that's okay too. Everybody goes through different
Well, sure they do.
phases of their career, and the company is constantly growing and evolving. So I think you just got to be heavily focused on gratitude, just where you're at, but at the same time, um, you know, trying to bring something new and exciting to the industry.
Right. Well, and that's something at MWI, and it's something I've always appreciated. There's two things. We're always bringing new things to the industry, but you hit on earlier that I think is important for anybody in business to do, whether it's our roll forming customers, your contractor customers, or whomever, is you guys have always been good about either polling us via technology over the last year, but brings into the
Yeah,
office, and you always would present things, but you'd always ask us what we thought, what we wanted, as opposed to, we're going to have these three widgets. Now, you idiots, go sell it. When you ask, can you sell this widget if we make it? And
hmm,
I think that's key, because not only did you get the buy-in from all of us guys, right? Because we bought in, because we just told you, yes, Ben and Phil, please make this widget, we'll sell it, right? So you got a buy-in from your sales guys.
yeah,
But equally, you took, instead of just two guys setting at the plant and you're out and about quite a bit, but you got 7, 8 other people bringing in all of their uh, ideas together, right? And I think that's something that a lot of companies miss, which has been really, really helpful, I think, with the MWI growth, and why we brought the right products to market at the right time, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree. And I think that, it was a pretty bold step for us at the time. It seems normal now, but 15 years ago, when we were given the opportunity to buy out Lawrence Hardware, that was quite a leap for us.
Right.
Lawrence was a struggling brand. We it was a great opportunity. It was just a great opportunity. They had fallen into, and I learned a lot from it. I learned a lot from that experience, just going through the history of Lawrence and understanding, what basically happened. Because that was a company that kind of missed the boat on some of the things that they were doing, and I wanted to learn from their mistakes, and I wanted to take that brand and enhance our own. And actually, it wasn't even. It was just a complete reshuffling of that deck, basically. We wanted barn door track. They had some of it. So, and again, we didn't just stay with square, because that's what Lawrence was known for, was the square track. We, one of the first things even you and I talked about was that we got to have round. We gotta make sure that we can service all the customers in the area and all the potential that is out there. And it took a lot of work. It took 3 years almost, to really. I mean, we hit every bump in the road that you could possibly hit, on the way to, what I would consider now is a very successful component to what we do. So, it's been a really fun journey. I've learned a lot. I've made a ton of mistakes, but we just kept going, and we've always had really incredible people that work for us,
Right.
Whether it's our customer service, whether it's our management staff, just all the assemblers, just everybody who works for us, including the salespeople, they just do a really good job. It's still even though my dad retired in 2017, that we've always tried to establish a very family-friendly environment. We've always made a very conscientious effort to make everyone feel like they're part of what's happening, and I think that is a great attribute. I think that's something that I feel we've done a really good job at, and want to continue to do so for many years.
Right. Well, and having worked with you guys for 20 plus years as a rep, I can tell you that's one thing that you've done very well. Is it's a very feeling of a family oriented, and you care what people think, and you ask for ideas, and I think that's a key thing that's probably one of the big killers to businesses, when they don't do that, when there's that division, right? And there's really not that divide. I mean, any of us guys can call you or Phil night or day and voice a concern, or voice a question, or how come we can't, or how come we didn't, or could we, right? And a lot of people don't have that that opportunity, right, to do that. So
yeah, it's kind of like, I just, I think that you create desire, the desire, to be a hard worker and somebody who works well with others. It's either there or it's not, and I think it usually works itself out. It's also the reason, I've never demanded call reports from my salesmen. I'm gonna know. I'm gonna know if you're going to, a customer or not. I don't need to see some BS call report that is a complete, waste of time. If I don't hear from you for a while, or whoever, it's like, hey, what do? We connect on the phone, and we, not you, but I'm just saying, like any salesman that, we're in constant communication, I guess, is what I'm trying to convey. And I think that's just incredibly important, because, that is, that's the that's what we want to see sort of, filter into our customers. We want everybody. We want our sales team. We want our customer service. We want our management staff, fully engaged with what's happening with whatever particular customer.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So as a final, because we're kind of getting up against the clock just a little bit, and I know you've got some things going on today.
You bet.
So 2020 was a different year, to say the least. But I feel like at MWI, we negotiated those waters through you and Ben's leadership and all the folks in management back at the plant. Probably is good or better than we could have ever hoped for. So number one, thank you for that. But secondarily, real briefly, it's kind of a wind down. What did you learn from that? What did you learn from 2020 that makes us better, for 2021?
Well, I really appreciate you saying that. I think that we work really hard in order to achieve that. So it's really nice, when you hear that. When you feel like your hard work pays off over an extended period of time. Yeah, I can kind of sit back and look at, a year ago, how things were very scary. It's I don't think I'll ever forget that. I don't think I'll ever forget how abrupt and how concerning it was. The cool part is that, I'm just one of those guys, and Phil is one of those guys as well, who, I always have a plan B, C, D, and E. It's just, it's constant layers of alternatives. And, I think that just having that was helpful. Didn't solve all of our problems by any means, but that helped. And I really rely heavily on my gut. I mean, if you're just asking me from a personal, philosophical sort of perspective, I really, and I encourage everybody to do that. I think that what the answer is. What the right thing to do is, if you really can get quiet and hone in on what you're supposed to do as an individual. And I think that if you're in the right group and you have the right synergy and you have the right people that share sort of those common traits, I really think that you can just continue to do good. And I think that you can, if you have kind of a service mentality, and you can keep your own selfish ego out of the equation, I think you're on the right track. And I can't really take credit for making a bunch of right decisions where 2020 was concerned. I just kept moving.
Yeah.
I just kept putting one foot in front of the next, and I tried to drown out all the noise and voices that were telling me that this was going to be a disaster, because I could find that anywhere. I could find anybody, any media outlet. I could find anybody to tell me it was going to be a disaster. I just chose not to believe it.
Right. Exactly. Perfect. And it proved proved out. We're rolling into 2021 strong, and it's been awesome. And that it's a pleasure to be involved with companies that the footing one foot ahead of the other, and not listen to the other garbage, right? And just moving forward and doing what's right is so key. So, well, Ben, I know you've got some things to do, and I appreciate you giving me some time today to chat a little
bit. Yeah, absolutely, Randy. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Any last parting words before you go play guitar?
I wish that was what I was going to do. Parting words. Hey, I really appreciate you having me on, and let's keep doing what we do best, which is just take care of others, and usually others will take care of you. So
exactly. Perfect. And the good news is that we're back to very quickly, it seems. I mean, there's a lot of things still out there that we have to work through and work around, but boy, it's I mean, for guys that travel a lot in the past,
Yeah.
it's what a pleasant thing to be actually booking flights and
Yeah.
and you know, the one good thing that I noticed the other day is I think with all the points that I had that I didn't use last year,
Yeah.
I think I can stay in hotels for the next 3 years and never pay for one.
That's great.
It's I guess that's one of the pluses to that, right? You know,
Yeah.
is
I think there's a lot of incentive to get out there and
no doubt.
you know, just kind of yeah, I think that here as we proceed in the next 6 months or so, it's gonna just keep getting a little bit better and more
Exactly.
feel a little more normal, hopefully. And
Exactly.
I think we've turned the corner, and that's what it feels. It's nice to feel that.
I feel that too. So, well, good.
Yeah.
Well, Ben, thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate it. Appreciate all you do and appreciate you being on today.
You bet. Thanks, Randy.
All right, buddy. See ya.
Okay.
Talk to you soon,
See
buddy.
ya.
Yeah,
You bet.
bye.
See ya.
Bye. All right, folks. Ben Nystrom, President and CEO of Sales and Marketing, MWI Components. Blessed to have been with these guys 20 plus years, and Ben brought all I thought he would bring, which is a good guy, a people person, and hopefully you appreciated some of the good things he brought to the table today. So, anyways, thanks for tuning in. Next week, Tuesday, noon, Building Wins Live, we have Ben Wallace. Don't have the little promo to pop up today. We'll pop it up tomorrow or the next day. But Ben is with Contractor Growth Systems. Contractor Growth Systems is Ben Wallace's organization. They basically help contractors get leads and generate leads in all spectrums of the construction industry. He's a young, aggressive guy. I like him a lot. Chatted often with him in the past, and I think you're really going to enjoy him. So that's it. Until next week, Tuesday, 12 noon Eastern time. Be there. Don't forget it. Share it out. And as always, live it, love it, own it, and make this your best day ever. Till tomorrow. Cheers, y'all.